Pennsylvania is Penn's woods, right? So historically, Pennsylvania had, we think, 6 deer per square mile, only 6. So it was a big, dark wood, and deer don't like that. Deer love edge.
We're kind of getting into the woods now with some natural clearings that occur as trees fall. You see there's a big gap between the canopy layer and the ground layer. There's supposed to be 2 more layers in between. The understory layer, which is the smaller trees, dogwoods, witch hazel, redbuds, young trees that are going to eventually take the place of the older canopy trees. You're supposed to have another shrub layer in here too, which is eye level and down, or somewhere in that range. The ground layer, which is what we see here, and some shrubby brambles, mostly invasive. We have Japanese stiltgrass right here. It came over as packing material for porcelain. I don't know when, but it's been here for a long time. Usually it has a very fine seed that kind of gets caught in shoes and animal paws, and then it moves in from the trail. So it'll start at a road and move its way into the forest, or it'll start along a trail and move its way in that way. So the diversity of what we see on the ground layer right next to us is very low. We should see a lot of stuff, especially in a clearing like this. This is where seedlings that have been hanging out in the ground layer now receive all the sunlight, and they shoot towards that hole in the ceiling to replace whatever fell. But we're not having that, because the deer at first chance will come in and nip those back until they're done. So this is...
They don't like this,
no.
Because they don't know anything about it.
They have not evolved. They don't have any evolutionary relationship with these foreign species. So while they're sitting here taking up water, nutrients, space, it's a dead end, because that energy that they're taken in and change into food goes nowhere. So this is a sassafras grove, which typically they do this. They grow in a monoculture of just them and no one else. But it's canopy trees, and then this understory of, we got a few spice bush here and there, but it's mostly wineberry, Japanese honeysuckle, oriental bittersweet, stiltgrass. Not a whole lot of other things going on. This is a more or less 10-acre restoration site that's been fenced off for about 10 years.
This is what the whole nature center should look like. This. So when you look out and you see the doll's eyes here, anywhere else you go in the nature center, you should see something like this, but you don't. So you see stiltgrass and wineberry. You don't see this. The idea of this place is Penn's Native Acres. If William Penn walked into these 10 acres, he would recognize the plants that are here. That's kind of the premise. It's an ambitious premise. But we're also, I think, we're realizing as we go forward further and further into this, it's not possible anymore. So what you've got now this phrase novel ecosystem coming into the literature, where novel, so that the climax forest is now different than it historically would have been, because the climate has changed, the soil has changed, the conditions are all different now. So we're not going to get the climax forest that should have been in eastern Pennsylvania anymore. We're going to get the combination of plants and animals that can exist in our unique weather right here. So we're not yet sure what the novel climax forest is, but we know what we'd like it to be, but we're not sure we can get it to ever get it to that. So it's a really interesting time to do, because you were doing restoration work, which technically means you're restoring it to something, but we no longer really know what we're restoring it to. And what we're really trying to do is actually keep as many natives as we can, and we're learning as we go.